What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of QuattroQuattroDos. Once again, this is your boy Chris with Cristian, and today we have something kind of not special, but I prepared a couple of things to talk about. So we're gonna be talking about obviously the MLS. We're gonna be talking about some of those games. We're gonna be talking about what's coming up next in the MLS. Then we're gonna hit on slightly on the U.S. Open Cup because I think that's I want to make that a big deal just because just the importance of a cup that's been around for like 100 years in this country, where soccer, when you look at soccer, or when you see soccer in this country, not a lot of people think about the history of it. People forget that soccer has been in this country for a long time, and I think showcasing a tournament like the U.S. Open Cup is it's a big deal. It should be a big deal because it represents culture, like soccer culture in the United States. It represents history. It represents everything that this people have been doing blood, sweat, and tears to keep the game relevant in a country where nowadays, other sports maybe are on the forefront. In soccer, it's fighting to like be, third place, second place, and stuff like that. So, what's up from Salt Lake City? What's up, y'all? Welcome to the show. Yeah, man. So yeah, it's been around for forever. So, showcasing that a little bit, and then we're gonna talk about a little bit about Champions League, a little bit about Manchester United, and then we're gonna close the show with a talk about Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, the two people that have always and will always go down in history as the greats. I think some people will have Cristiano, some people will have Messi, but I think they both deserve to be talked about in the same sentence. Obviously they're different players, they're different characteristics to them, but I think they're both important to what they have brought to the sport, what they contributed as players. I mean, they're still playing, so they're still contributing, but, when we look back to their careers, I think it's crazy that at this age, they're still, contributing to the sport. So without further ado, thank y'all so much for joining us. Thank you for coming in and spending some time with me. But let's move on. Let's go into the next thing. So as you guys can see, I kind of did a little thing here. So you'll be able to see the information on your screen, and then you'll be able to see me on your screen. So hopefully, the obviously if you're watching on your phone, it's probably too small, but I don't know if you can submit or not. But I just wanted to touch a little bit on the U.S. Open Cup because I think. Well, it's from 1914. That was the first time the U.S. Open Cup was played, 1914. So think about how insane that is, that 100 years later, in 2022, 100 years and, well, what is that, 106? No. So 20 would be 6. 108 years, this cup has been, going on. And unfortunately, for the history of the cup, the only 2 years that it wasn't played was 2020 and 2021. So when you think about what it took basically for this cup not to be played, I'm not sure if they were played during World War II. I don't know. But as even let's just say that it wasn't played during those years in the 40s, but it being a consistent tournament from like the 40s and 50s all the way to the 2000s, I think it's pretty crazy. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of, I just want to highlight the teams that are playing. All these teams are NPSLs or USL League 2s, that we actually do have a few of them in Houston. I unfortunately don't have a list or anything like that. I should have. Maybe for next episode I'll have a list. But and then so you guys can see some of the teams that are available to actually compete in this tournament. The Houston Dynamo will be jumping on, I think, in round 3, if I'm not mistaken. That's when usually round 3 or round 4 is like towards the end. I'll answer that question here in a second about the MLS Cup and mattering more than the MLS. But yeah, like the Houston Dynamo will come into this. Well, not the Houston Dynamo, but Division One teams, MLS teams will be coming in to this league later on. Obviously, the smaller teams have to compete among themselves first, and then that's when everybody comes in, right? All the bigger clubs, and that's why usually the bigger clubs, tend to win it, nowadays, because obviously they have less competition and they compete against the bigger teams. It's kind of rare to see, one of these teams from, the phase one, the round one to make it all the way to the end. But it's cool to have Cinderella stories. Have teams that, maybe like young guys that are still in college, or maybe they have other jobs or stuff like that. You know how it happens. I think other countries have put a little bit more emphasis. So going into the question here from EBAT 2015 he said, do you think the US Open Cup matters to MLS fans as much as the MLS Cup? I don't think so. I don't think I don't think these cups will ever matter as more or as much as like your Division 1 championship. And just because you're obviously are fighting, in Division 1, it's for all the marvels basically. You get to go to if you're in the MLS Conca Champions, and you get to grow as a team in the big stage. I think the US Open Cup is a good opportunity for the lower teams, for the teams in USL, for USL League 2, USL League 1, NPSL, NISA, and all the other leagues, regional leagues that compete for them, to kind of give their players and everybody in their organization, a good motivation, to be able to fight with the big boys, to be able to fight with organizations that have money, that are able to put a team together, that are able to buy and spend a lot of money on players, but it's cool. So let's see, another comment: has a non-MLS team ever won it? I guess before the MLS form, right? Yeah, so basically, yeah, back in those days, obviously there wasn't as many teams as there are now. Now I would say probably over 100, because even to get to round one, there's like a qualification stage where you have to compete, in your own leagues. So when you see all these teams right here, these are like the best of the best in their regions. So if you look at here, let's just go ahead and name them, and then it will say where they're from. Kind of you'll be able to figure out where they're from just because of their names. So for example, March 22nd, which is starting next Monday, I think. No, not 22nd, because 21st is my birthday, and that's Monday. But Tuesday and Wednesday, actually, and these games are going to be live stream on ESPN Plus. So imagine if you are, a player from FC Motown or Westchester United Soccer Club from the USL League 2, and your games are going to be televised on ESPN Plus. The same, provider, the same people that basically show La Liga or Serie A or MLS Cup or in all these games, and you're literally on that same programación, how we say in Spanish, but yeah, let's just go real quick just to kind of touch on them and see who they are. But FC Motown is taking Westchester United Soccer Club in New Jersey. Cleveland Soccer Club is taking Chicago FC United. Is that Chicago Fire? I don't know. It might be just like Houston United. I think there's a Houston FC here. Hartford City FC going against Oyster Bay United. The Villages FC is going against Orlando FC Wolves. So that's in Florida. So then you start seeing the regions, the Northeast region, the Southern regions. Then this game is the one that I'm actually going to watch just because both teams are from Texas. So I'm going to watch the Denton Diablos FC versus the Defeaters Kicks Soccer Club. That's a name right there. It's a mouthful. And so I'm going to watch that game to, just kind of support the home, not the home teams, but, the Texas boys. And thank you for the early birthdays. the early birthday saludos, I guess. Hopefully, he speaks Spanish. And then you have the Southern States at Sea Stars playing Georgia Revolution FC, and that's in Mississippi. For San Fernando Valley FC, obviously in California, against Escondido FC in California. Lynchburg FC is playing Nova FC in Virginia. Ocean City Northeasterns from the USL2 is playing Lansome Yonkers FC. South Carolina United FC Banthams. Bro, these names are long. Going against North Carolina Fusion U23. Miami United FC is playing City Soccer. Interesting. And then Western Mass Pioneers is playing Brockton FC United. Des Moines Menace is playing Minneapolis City. And then you have Tulsa Athletic playing Azteca FC in Oklahoma. Portland Timbers U23 is playing Contra Costa FC. Las Vegas Legends FC is playing Park City Red Wolves. So as you can see, some of the teams, obviously they're like not community teams, but they're local teams. And then some of the teams like the Portland Timbers U23, they're like academy teams, right? So since it's not like a Portland 2, like if Dynamo does, like for example, they don't qualify because they are literally under the umbrella of the Houston Dynamo, or like an Atlanta 2. I don't think they'll like they play, or like Los Angeles Dos, or whatever it may be, like their number 2 team. They don't get to play because they're under the same umbrella. But since the U23 is like for example, Portland Timbers U23 is their own little thing, kind of. They don't really like move around players from like the first team in Portland to like the bottom teams or whatever. They're able to play. Like for example, RGV Toros. This is going to be their first appearance in the U.S. Open Cup. Before that, they couldn't because they were controlled by an MLS team. So if your club is controlled by an MLS team, you're not able to play. So yeah, the Feeders Kicks. What a name! Yeah, bro. It's these teams are a mouthful. And imagine the ones that didn't make it. These are the ones that were able to make it to the first round. But let's go ahead and move on a little bit. So basically, I just wanted to kind of highlight them and see, if you guys were ever wanted to watch, these games are going to be on ESPN Plus. So if it's going to be on Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you tune in at some point during those days, you'll be able to watch one of these games. So I'll be tuning in to, like I said, to the Houston teams, Denton Diablos and the Feeders Kicks Soccer Club. Before we go there, I wanted to point this out. As you guys know, I'm Argentinian. I think I say this every single time. But it was cool what I was going through. So the U.S. Open Cup Twitter every day has been doing a little thing where they put, like O is for whatever, M is for whatever. And then they did this one for, I forgot what letter. But I just think it was cool that, Mike Noja, an Argentine born and just 21 at the time, scored all 5 goals for the Philadelphia Ukrainian Nationals in their 5-3 overtime win over LA Kickers in the final in the 1960s, or in the final of the 1960s. So I thought it was pretty cool history, to have a guy from Argentina, born in Argentina, playing in the United States for a team called the Philadelphia Ukrainian Nationals. And if you look at, if you go a little bit, if you dive deeper into their history, they have like the logo is like the Ukrainian flag, and and since everything that's going on in the world, I just thought it was kind of interesting, that a bunch of Ukrainians back in the 60s, came up with a team and they won the U.S. Open Cup. So I love history and I love soccer, so just a little piece of that, So shout out to Mike Noja, who knows if he's still alive. 1960, 40, he's probably like 80, who knows. But let's go ahead and move on. Yeah, he was probably very cold. Imagine 5 goals. Is that like, what do you call 5 goals? Because a 3 is a hat trick, a 2 is a brace. I don't know, but 5 goals is 5 goals. You got to score 5 goals. So let's go ahead and touch on. Let's read some of these comments real quick. Great name. What a badass. And yes, he was cold. Let's go ahead and move on to the MLS. once again, I was able to figure out how to put myself in this thing so I don't have to go back and forth. But yeah, on Saturday, we had a bunch of matchups, usually Saturday, Sundays. We have, matchups there. But let's just go real quick and just kind of touch on them and see if anything kind of stands out or whatever, or we can just talk about them here and there. So New York City had Montreal. New York City, they revealed their I don't know if you guys saw it. I should have grabbed a picture and posted it up here, but they had their championship banner revealed at this game, and everybody was poking fun at them because it was literally like this big. Like you can barely see it. So even it was funny because even like if you guys listen to the MLS Extra Time, their podcast, they were even making fun of them, which usually they try not to trying to be like politically correct or trying to be nice with everybody, but I just think it was hilarious. What else? So Columbus took on Toronto, 2-win for Columbus. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Celarayán scored again. I'm not 100% on that, but I wouldn't be surprised. ALFC went to Miami and they whooped them 2-0. Miami, bro, they should just retire, honestly, or they should just like go claim that wooden spoon. Like, I don't think Cincinnati is doing that bad, honestly, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Watch both the Dynamo RSL game went down to the actual last minute. That's crazy. Cincy winning, yeah, isn't that crazy? And they won away game. So let's keep going. Seattle beat LA. We were actually watching that at pitch 25 when we were doing the pregame before the Dynamo game. So if you were there with the Search guys, I was there with my whole entire family. Well, not my entire family, but I was there with my dad, my two brothers, and one of my homeboys. Shout out to Pesos. And we were there and we were watching that game. And yeah, Seattle kind of came back towards the end. And they were able to get their first 3 points. And, what seemed to kind of like a rocky start there for Seattle with 2 losses. Now they're starting to become the Seattle that, everybody knows and loves, I guess. Or I don't love them, but, it's just how the saying goes. So Houston had their first win against Vancouver. I think, some of you guys saw it or you were at the stadium, maybe holding a Tyler Pasher head, a fat head or whatever. Or what else. And it was a good game, fun game. I think the Houston Dynamo dominated that game, and it was a pretty good game. I think it was pretty. We're trying to see the team kind of pick up some traction, but if you want a little bit more in depth, I will go ahead and plug the Houston Dynamo, the Dynamo Theory podcast. You can go check that out. It's me and Rudy over there. Rodrigo is in Rome, traveling, seeing the world. It's pretty cool. Today he posted something on his Instagram that he's actually watching Roma. So pretty badass from him. Then you had Chicago going to DC United and beat them 2-0. Chicago coming in hot. 3 clean sheets. 3 games, 3 clean sheets. So shout out to I forget the name of the guy. Slolina, I think it is. I actually have him on my fantasy team. So shout out to Slolina. And if I'm not mistaken, the kid's like 17 years old. Like, he's mad young. And he's out here putting una catedral, as they say, of goalkeeping. So shout out to the kid, man. Let's go back to the comments. Poor NYFCAC can put holes in Yankee Stadium walls. Rent is too high. Hey, I wouldn't doubt it. Miami, surprisingly bad. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't think they have like. I think everybody just kind of like. It's one of those things like a national team thing, like when you just have a bunch of stars and you try to put them together, but they don't really have like a cohesion. I don't know if that's a word, but they don't really. I don't think they understand each other. And then you have egos and you have this and you have that, and I don't think they're ready as a team. But we'll see how they pan out. And then I love Dynamo Theory podcast. Hey, we love you too. So appreciate that. Appreciate the love, man. Real Salt Lake going all the way to New England and beating them, like he was saying to the last minute in the comments, 3-2 against New England, and that was a snowstorm. I don't know if you guys saw that. They were at Carles Gil who's also my fantasy team, he literally said, this is shit. He was like, we're fucked. We can't be playing. I don't know if he said fucked. I just made that up. But he did curse. He said, he's like, we can't play in this weather. Like, it's so, like, he's like, I can't walk. He's like, I can't run. I can't pass the ball. I can't talk to my teammates. He's like, how are we going to play like this? But then obviously a lot of people were saying, well, he's saying that because they lost, and if he would have won, he wouldn't have never said anything. Who knows? I think, I don't know. I mean, obviously not winning sucks. So obviously I think he was mad because of that. And then if you add the whole, situation on top of that, I think it made it even worse. And then Estonia, so I think, so he is like, well, I'm pretty sure he's American, but then also his family, I think is, where's his family from? I just heard he was on the MLS podcast too, and then they were talking about him being from like Middle East, I'm tripping, from somewhere in Europe. But yeah, I don't know. He might even get called up from that country. Who knows? But yeah, I think he deserves a shot. Honestly, I mean, the kid is really good. 3 games, 3 shutouts. I think that's pretty badass. And then once again, Cincinnati going into Orlando and beating Orlando 2-1. I think Cincinnati has more wins away than that they do home, which is bonkers. And then when you see that it's just 1 win, I think it's crazy. I don't know how many wins they had last year, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe 1 or 2. So it's crazy that they're already like halfway there to their number, with just 1 win. So, and they did it away. So shout out to Cincinnati, man. Honestly, it sucks to suck. That's coming from a Dynamo fan. But, being Cincinnati, imagine 2 years in a row, being a new franchise, having a nice stadium, everything, like, the support of the fans and stuff like that. It just sucks. But shout out to them, man. And then to keep it going, Philadelphia beat San Jose 2-0. Philadelphia, obviously one of the contenders, I think, every year, just because they're able to put a good team together all the time. Dallas, surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, because I think Dallas nowadays has become not only what we see as a product builder, but also I think this year is one of the first years that they actually have put a good team together. So, they went against a Nashville who is another contender, and I think they beat them pretty good. And I think one of their goals was goal of the week, or, it's in the running for a goal of the week from the Argentinian, the 19-year-old, I think, 20-year-old Argentinian. So shout out to them. Colorado beating Kansas City. Houston Dynamo will be facing Colorado in the next week. And Colorado, also second shutout. 2 shutouts in 3 games. They beat, who did they beat? They beat Atlanta 3-0, and then they beat Kansas City 2-0. So they're doing pretty good at home. Away, they lost to LAFC 3-0. That's when Carlos Vela, Charlie Cando got his hat trick. And then to close on that Saturday, Portland beat Austin 1-0. I think Portland, I watched that game just because I was curious to see how Austin was going to do with, a legit team. I think their first 2 victories were against two poor teams, Cincinnati and Cincinnati and Miami. So this was like their first real trial against a good team. And honestly, going to Portland and losing 1-0 is not a bad result. Obviously, you want to tie or win away, get some points back home. But I think, a good result, if you're an Austin fan, I think you're pretty happy with the fact that you went to Portland and you only got scored on once. So shout out to them. Let's go back to the comments. Cincy wins the cup this year. Place your bets now. Imagine like if you place, if you had money on Cincinnati and then they win, I think you'll make a lot of money. I think they're probably, they have less percentage, of winning than the Dynamo probably. he's on the reserve team for the men's national team. Oh, that's badass. I didn't know that, but it's cool. Hopefully he makes it, to the big leagues. Dallas beating Nashville was surprising to me. Me too. Honestly, I thought that Nashville was going to be a little bit harder to beat. But Dallas, I guess they're putting a good team together. Also glad Portland homeboy TX. Me too, because as a Houstonian, you obviously the rivalry exists, but like I said, at the end of the day, I think Austin has to be happy at the fact that they went up to Portland and they only lost 1-0. So a good game for them. Agreed, happy about the Portland win. I hate to say it, but I think Austin might be good. I don't know. I think we'll just have to wait and see, because I think they were pretty lucky. They had 2 games at home and against 2 really bad teams, and then this one, they went against the Portland that maybe has lost some of their stars. But obviously it's Portland. Portland at home is always difficult. So we'll just have to see and wait who they play next and see how they're gonna evolve, I guess, as a team. And another comment, it says, I still think it's too early to tell. Portland hasn't been the best. I hope Boston flop. Well, basically what I just said. But I hate Boston flop. As a Houstonian, but also as a human being, I hope they do okay. Sunday, March 13, Atlanta beat Charlotte. I think Charlotte, was celebrated their first goal ever in franchise history. So they were, they got the loss, they got the L, but at least they were able to yell out a goal. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the first goal. And then New York Red Bulls, the energy drink, they hosted Minnesota, and Minnesota whooped them 1-0. It's not whooping, but it is what it is. So let's move on. This is what we have next week. You have Cincinnati, Miami, the battle of the wooden spoons. I think this is oh my god, that noise. But I think this is gonna be a pretty good matchup. Just to see who is the worst. So on this one, I think Cincinnati has the upper hand because they're playing at home. But it's gonna be a good matchup to watch and just see what's up. New York City, the champions, against Philadelphia. I think that's going to be a really good matchup for the opposite, because I think these are 2 of the contenders. The current champion and Philadelphia, who has had a good team in the past few years. So obviously he's going to be a good one. And then you have Toronto, DC, 2 teams that are still kind of find their feet, under themselves. Then you got LA against Orlando. I think LA is going to win that one for sure. But, who knows? I've been wrong before. You have Atlanta, Montreal. That's going to be interesting because, Montreal, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they just got kicked out of the Conca Champions. So, obviously, they're going to have to focus on the MLS if that happened. Chicago, Kansas City. There's going to be a good one, too. All of these are kind of good, I guess. Kansas City, Chicago, just because Chicago is, they're trying to keep that momentum going. And Kansas City needs to win. They've been kind of going up and down, so if they're gonna want to keep fighting for the top spots, they need to start winning. So Charlotte hosting New England. I'm hoping for a Charlotte win, just because I want to see them win for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. But then again, New England, they have a couple of good players, so we'll see. Minnesota, San Jose, 2 tough teams, 2 teams that are always scrappy and stuff. So we'll see how that happens. Let's see what's next. And then you have Dallas, Portland, an interesting one, because Dallas is trying to shape themselves to be a really good team, and then Portland, they're trying to keep themselves as a good team. So it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be more of a trial for Portland than Dallas, honestly. Then we have Houston, Colorado. The reason I'm interested in this one, not only because I'm a Houston Dynamo fan, but the reason I'm interested in this one is because this is going to be a really good test for the Houston Dynamo to see how they... Colorado won the West last year. That's crazy. I think we forget about that. They were good. And this year, they have pretty much the same team. So if the Houston Dynamo are trying to become something... and they're trying to, become a good team, a team that competes. Beating teams like Colorado at home is going to have to be a vital thing. And then you have Real Salt Lake going against Nashville, another one. I think Nashville has a little bit of an upper hand, but then again, Salt Lake is playing at home, so they're probably even right there. Let's go to the comments before we go to Sunday real quick. Let's see here. Have you noticed the news outlets have been trying to push Atlanta-Charlotte rivalry, but the fans don't want it? Yeah, that just sounds weird. Like, I don't know. I don't see. I mean, I can see how the South could be a rivalry, but honestly, I don't know. Who is Atlanta's rivalry? Nashville? No. Nashville has Columbus, right? I don't know. I really don't know. Atlanta is kind of weird because they're like in the middle. They're like in the South, but they're like in the middle of everything in a way. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's up. I think RSL versus Nashville will be interesting, not just because I'll be at the game. Hey, shout out to you. So you actually do live in Salt Lake. That's what's up. I mean, it's not that I didn't believe you, but it's cool that you live in Real Salt Lake and you keep up with the Dynamo stuff as well, or just soccer in general from Houston. People are confidential or confident Houston can take a W, but I don't know. I'm hoping to scrape away with a draw. Confident. There you go. You corrected yourself at the end. Yeah, so I actually said that it was going to be a 2-2 draw. Rudy said the same thing. My co-host from Dynamo Theory. And we'll see. Honestly, I mean, some of the guys on Dynamo Theory said, one of the guys said we were going to lose. And then the rest of us said either a tie or a win. So we're very hopeful, but honestly, I mean, we can't really take, Colorado too lightly because they are a really good team. So it's going to be a good test for us to see, or for Houston Dynamo to see where they at, where they stand. Then on Sunday, March 20th, you have New York Red Bulls against Columbus. That should be a good matchup as well, a good East matchup. You have Austin against Seattle. That's going to be a good one. Just because Seattle, they're trying to come back and trying to be, great again. And then you have Austin who, they obviously think they're great. They've been having good games. But obviously, when you go against Portland, Seattle, LAFC, the big boys, you have to show up. So they're going to be at home. So hopefully that's an advantage for them, having their fans and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. And then LAFC going against Vancouver. It should be all LAFC, but you never know. But I expect an easy 3 points for LAFC. Let's go back to the comments, and then we'll go on to the next topic. That Seattle game will be the game of the week, probably. Yeah, probably. That's only if Austin is able to kind of keep up. I mean, I think Seattle is going to come out to kill, just because, like I said, they haven't started in a good way, and now that they're able, and now that they got their first victory against an LA Galaxy, I think they're gonna want to bury Austin to kind of make a statement and be like, hey, we're Seattle, calm down, guys, we're back. The beginning was just the beginning, but when it comes to playing, Austin, Houston, Cincinnati, the lower tier teams, we're gonna make sure we stomp them. But who knows? We'll see what Austin has, on their sleeves or up their sleeves or whatever, however that saying goes. And let's see here. We already talked about that. So this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about. But let me see if I think I have. I am muted. My bad. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. But hopefully, I don't know where I left off. But my B, let me do this. Nah, whatever. We'll just leave it like that. Let's lock the volume. There you go, so I don't mess up again. All right, here we go. Sorry about that, but yeah, let's go. So we are, like I said, we talked the U.S. Open Cup, we talked the MLS. Now let's go international to probably the biggest tournament, right next to the World Cup. Honestly, I mean, I don't, people are gonna debate this all the time. What's better, the World Cup or the, I think obviously the World Cup is probably better, but the Champions League is like right there, just because it's literally the best of the best of the best of the best. The World Cup too, but it has a little different, just because it's, I don't know, whatever. Let's just keep going. So we already have our quarterfinalists. We have the best 8 teams in Europe: Real Madrid, Villarreal, Atletico, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Benfica. Obviously, I think the 2 surprises here are probably Villarreal and Benfica. You see them like, in the world spectrum, but obviously you see other teams. A lot of people were not really surprised, but the fact that you don't see a PSG, obviously they went against Real Madrid. You don't see a Barcelona. You don't see who else? Borussia Dortmund. You don't see I don't know, like a bunch of other teams that probably are going to be in the Manchester United. You don't see like teams that are like right there, right? So you have 3 English teams, 3 Spanish teams, a German team, and a Portuguese team. The drawing for this quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken, is on, when is it? The 18th? I literally just had this information, but I forgot. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it is tomorrow, the 18th, because today's the 17th. If you're listening live, I might be wrong, but I'll tweet it out or I'll put it up somewhere. But we'll see what's up, and then whenever those matchups actually come in, we'll be able to see who against, obviously who goes against who in the quarterfinals, but not only in the quarterfinals, but then in the semifinals, and then you can start plotting a possible final. So I think that's like more intriguing than actually seeing the matchups, right? Seeing who could be in the final, how things could play out. So in this stage of the league, of the tournament, like, it doesn't matter if you put 2 English teams together or against each other, or 2 Spanish teams against each other, and stuff like that. Actually, let's look it up. So, what's up? What is this? So we're gonna do this. Hopefully you guys can still see me. You guys let me know if you can or not. We're gonna go Champions League. Oh shit. Champions League draw. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. I don't know if you guys can see it. You guys let me know. But I might be there. What time? Oh, it is tomorrow. See, I was right. So it's going to be March 18th, 2022, 12 p.m. local time. So local time being in Switzerland. Switzerland? Yeah. Switzerland. I can't pronounce that. Bet. So let's see here. Sure, we can accept the cookies. Hopefully that's not a virus, but it is what it is. Bro, the Clásicos, I almost forgot to talk about those things. The Champions League quarterfinals are upon us. Let's see here. Friday's draw. I don't know. I think we'll just have to keep an eye on it. But the draw is actually tomorrow. And then as you can see here, the first leg will be the 5th and 6th of April. Shout out to the guy spraying for the mosquitoes outside. The return legs are 12th and 13th of April. Semifinals are 26th, 27th of April. And the second leg for the semifinals is the 3rd and 4th of May. And the Champions League final being on the May 28th at the Stadio de France in Paris, because it was going to be in Moscow, but then Russia decided to invade countries. So, yeah. So, okay, here it is. It's going to be bright and early, homies. I hope you guys are awake. But in the U.S., is gonna be at 7 a.m. Eastern time, 4 a.m. Pacific time. So if I'm not mistaken, 6 a.m. right, our time. So we should probably go to sleep then, huh? Well, let's hurry up and finish this thing. And then, hey, your birthday's May 28th. What's up? You should have a Champions League party, bro. Like a Champions League theme party. But yeah, let's go back to our main screen though. Let's go. There you go. I'm back. Sorry. But 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, if I am awake, I'll go ahead and I'll go live on Twitch and we can all watch it together and stuff like that. I should be awake, like I said, because I'm going to be at work. But yeah, we'll see. So let's go ahead and move on from this Champions League. Also, since we are here, let's just go ahead and talk about El Clásico. This Sunday, El Clásico, the Spanish Clásico, obviously. Liverpool, I'm tripping. Real Madrid, Barcelona. The Argentinian Clásico. Boca River, also at the same day. I think the Clásico in Spain is at 3 p.m. The Boca Clásico is at, the Boca River Clásico is at 4 p.m. And the Mexican, or not the Mexican, but Monterrey Clásico, Tigres, Rayados is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, that same day, but it's probably like towards later on during the day. But yeah, muted again, but I should be back again. You let me know. Let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. So, inspiring the greats or not? So this is one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, just because of this. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this happened the other day. So this account, International Champions Cup, tweeted this out: February 1st, Tom Brady officially announces his retirement from the NFL. March 12th, Brady visits Old Trafford and witnesses 37-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo score a hat trick and talks to him after the match. March 13, Brady announces that he's no longer retired. Interesting, right? Like, that's crazy that happened. And then this guy on the right, he tweeted, or he commented on that tweet. He said, if Tom Brady went to go watch Messi instead of Ronaldo, he'd still be retired. And that basically triggered like some things in my mind, because I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, I never, if you think about these things, like, oh shit. Let me go back to this one. Yeah. So if you think about these things, like, he's not wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously I don't think Tom Brady made, a decision from one day to the next. He doesn't seem like a man. I mean, who knows? I don't know Tom Brady, right? But he doesn't seem like the guy. Yeah, like the comments. Good thing he didn't see Ronaldo play against Atletico Madrid, because he was a ghost. He was nowhere to be found for sure. But it's one of those things that you don't really think about how people. Obviously, I don't think Tom Brady made the decision, right there and then. It was like, oh wow, this guy is so inspiring, But also at the same time, when you think about, the feelings that these people, make you, like they bring to you, like feelings of inspiration, feelings to, I don't know, whatever it may be. But it's just crazy that in one weekend, you have Cristiano Ronaldo score a hat trick against one of the big teams in the. Was it? I forgot who. The Spurs, I think it was. Tottenham. He went over there and he scored 3 goals, or not over there, but at Old Trafford, he played at home, and he scored 3 goals, and you're like, God, this guy, at the age that he's at, he's still top level dude. He's still killing the game. Even though he's, at 37, you're like, what, semi-retired, already. At least, nowadays, you're considered old when you're 34 years old. People are saying, Hector Hernandez coming to Houston at the age of 32, and he's already old, and you're like, whoa, like that's insane. I'm turning 30 years old on Monday, and people are like, and you're like, man, I'm still dumb. Like I'm 30 and I'm still dumb. Like I haven't lived anything. But in the soccer world, at 30, you're like going downhill. Like nowadays, freaking kids are signing contracts at 15 years old, and you're like, bro, when I was 15 years old, I was like, picking my boogers, and just thinking about different things, and it's just crazy, like the things that watching these grown ass men at 37 year old still, 37, and then Messi I think is 34, and they're still like competing, top level, like a best of the best. Obviously both of them lost in the Champions League, and I think it was two different like perspectives, because Manchester United as a team is just it's like it's weird, because you think about the team, right? You think about like they fired their coach Ole. I think I don't know how to pronounce his name. I know how the name is like written now, but I don't know how to pronounce it. But I think it's Ole, right? Or whatever his name was. He got fired. But then you look at the table of the Premier League, and Manchester United is in what, 5th, 6th place? Like they're still like in like contenders to be in the top 4 to make it to the Champions League, like for next year. So you're like, that's insane. The fact that the pressure is so much for teams like Manchester United, for teams like Chelsea, for teams like big teams in the Premier League. The demands are so high that a bad streak or a bad moment in the team's history, even Harry Maguire, Harry Maguire is a real, like, it's a weird case, because the guy is the captain and one of the one of the main defenders of Manchester United, a worldwide recognized team. Therefore, you would assume that the guy, he is, like a good player. And then you watch him play and you're like, that's crazy. Like, I don't want to be mean because I don't know him. And honestly, like, I've only seen like highlights, or I only seen clips. Like, I've paid attention here and there to him, but he's pretty average. Like, he's not, like, when I see, like, I don't know who. I mean, as you can see, I'm an Aston Villa fan, right? I started following Aston Villa this year, and I kind of went all in on Aston Villa. And you see Tyrone Mings, and he, like, I don't know, maybe because I pay more attention to the team, but he's like very commanding as a center back. He's very like powerful. He's strong. He's like vocal. He's like a true captain. And when I see Harry Maguire play with Manchester United, I don't see that same like passion. Yelling at his players, like telling players he just seems lost. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a Manchester United fan. Maybe Manchester United fans could completely disagree with me, and that's fine, because obviously I don't follow Manchester United. But if you guys are Manchester United fans, let me know. But I'm pretty sure maybe you are Houston Dynamo memes, but Manchester United hasn't won a trophy in 5 years. It feels crazy. That's the thing, like the pressure is so strong for these teams, and for people like Cristiano Ronaldo, because people thought, man, Cristiano Ronaldo is coming to Manchester United to win a trophy, and you're in 5th place. And honestly, like now, if you look at the Premier League, there's only 2 teams really fighting for it. Liverpool and Manchester City, who happens to be their freaking arch rival, right? So you're like it's insane, because Cristiano Ronaldo was supposed to be like the savior, or not the savior, but one of the players to carry this team forward, and there you have it, 5th place, kicked out of the Champions League. But then on the other hand, you have Messi. The hold on. Yeah, let me get a sip. So you guys think about Messi and what I might say about Messi. And I'm not really like a Messi guy either, so think about it. All right, we're back. Man, that lemon is like super sweet. And I'm a sweet guy, but ooh, that's sweet. But Messi, think about Messi. Think about like all the things that he has accomplished, like what, 7 Ballon d'Ors, freaking everything. I mean, think about all the things that he has done. You know, at his age, at his time, but then again, he was like a one, not a, like it sounds bad, right? But like a one-trick pony. But in the way that he only played for one club, and then playing in one club obviously gives you a better. Like you play with the same guys all the time. Therefore, like you don't have the thing of Cristiano Ronaldo where he went to different clubs, different countries, different leagues, and he was successful as well. Like he was champions what in Spain, he was champion in England, he was champion in Italy. Was he champion in Portugal? Maybe. Like that's 4 different countries where he went and he like became a household name for a club, for not only for a little club but like for big clubs, for Juventus, Manchester United, for Real Madrid. Like the guy is known as one of the best, and I mean he will go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest. You obviously head to head with Messi, who we all know and we all have seen Messi play, and the dude is completely people would describe him as an extraterrestrial. Like he is not of this world. He's different. He's a different breed of human, or whatever it may be. And it's crazy that the fact that right now you grab Messi, who inspired so many and like kids and generations, literally like a whole generation of like soccer lovers, and then you move them to another great team, which, not to be mean to PSG fans, but I don't think PSG was like huge till like the last few years, and not in like before Messi, honestly. Not because of Messi, but a few years before. But it was because of the, Neymar and Mbappe and all these guys that went out there. I mean, people called the French league Farmers League because there's really not competition, and a team like PSG was just being constructed to fight against the English teams in the Champions League. And then you put Messi to kind of become also like a cornerstone of that team, and everything just kind of fell flat. There was nothing there, honestly, and kicked out. They went there and he hasn't won anything with PSG. They went there and they lost the cup to Lille, I think it was. Then they got kicked out of the French Cup, the equivalent to the US Open Cup or the FA Cup, right? And then they got kicked out of the Champions League, and they got kicked out by a Real Madrid that, well, I mean, obviously Real Madrid is one of the best teams in the world too. But whenever they went up top 2-0, in the aggregate, and PSG was playing very well, and then you're like 2-0, this is it. Like there's no way, Real Madrid is gonna come back from this. PSG had everything going to them. Like they were playing a great, beautiful game, and then Real Madrid said, you know what, Benzema said, hold my tea, basically, and then he scored 3 goals, and that was that. But let's go to the comments real quick. See what you guys are saying. Let's see here. Good. Yeah. Arsenal, though. Manchester United has won 5 trophies. Aston Villa, Arsenal this weekend, actually. Keep an eye out for that. He ghosted against Madrid. Messi ghosted like no other. Like, he was ghost like no other. Still can't believe PSG lost. Right? It was crazy. PSG had that game in their pocket, and then Benzema said, "Not my pocket." Do you think PSG are right to boo Neymar and Messi for the loss? PSG fans, I feel bad for PSG fans. Like, imagine having all the star power and not getting close to the Champions League. And honestly, if I'm a PSG fan, middle finger, read between the lines to Messi and Neymar, honestly. I think, honestly, but I think Neymar put a little bit more effort than Messi. I mean, I would probably just boo Messi, honestly. And that's coming from like I said, I'm not like a Messi lover. I'm a Messi not fanatic. I'm just as an Argentinian, I enjoy him as an Argentinian, but I'm not like, crazy about Messi. I'm not really. I've never have been, and I don't think I'll never will be. But obviously, I admire his talent. I mean, you can't deny the fact that he's probably the best player that has ever played soccer ever, and that's like crazy. I've never seen Maradona play, but people say that they're like in the same conversation, same sentence. And if I'm a PSG fan, F, honestly, like F, Messi, because if you like, I'm gonna say I'm old school, but I'm a lover of the colors, right? So obviously, well, yeah, I'm wearing a different jersey today, but honestly, like I just wear jerseys because whatever, So if you have a jersey and you want me to wear it, send it to me. That's fine. I don't care. But I wear like for example, I have a West Ham United jersey that was a gift, and I don't think I could ever wear it because now I'm a Aston Villa fan, and even if nobody saw me, I would feel like I'm disrespecting Aston Villa by wearing a West Ham United jersey, like even to go to the store. Like, and I know that's kind of stupid and kind of dumb of me, but that's how much respect I have for the colors. Like, you'll never see me wear, like, I don't think I'll ever wear another MLS jersey that is not from the Houston Dynamo, honestly. And just because I have respect for the colors and I have respect, like for my team, and you'll like an Argentinian thing, like you'll never see me wear another country's jersey unless like it's a badass jersey and I want to wear it as a fashion thing, type like like to go out and look cool. Like I have this one that I don't even know why I have it, but I have it and I wear it. Obviously, it's not even real. It has two stripes instead of three, but it's like I like it because it's cool, because it's old, it's faded, it has a little collar. But since I'm not like a fan of any Italian team, I don't have like an allegiance to nobody in Italy. I wear it. I don't care, and that's what I do. Like if I don't have an allegiance to a team, in a in a specific club, league or whatever, I'll wear it. But let's see here. If Navas started for PSG, I think the result would be different. Probably. I mean, I think that's messed up what they did with him. I think Navas deserves to be playing somewhere. And I honestly don't understand why he hasn't left. I know there's probably like contract stuff. But yeah, Navas is a high caliber goalkeeper. And he's basically being wasted by sitting in the bench. Let's see here. I've never wear an ATX or Dallas jersey. Yeah, me neither. You'll never catch me wear anything else other than the Houston Dynamo jersey unless it's like, I don't know. Honestly, I can't because I don't have an example. I don't think I would wear any other like MLS club jersey unless it's like a random team like, I don't know, Montreal, Vancouver, or something like that. And like where, it's just what it is. Like I honestly like some jerseys in the MLS, but like I'm not like too crazy. But let's see, what else do I have in the? Let me just show some. Show you guys some stats, just because I was curious to see what obviously what the fuss is about. Obviously, because you start seeing all these like, oh, he sucks, he's this. So it's like, let's just go to the hard facts, let's see what's up. So for example, on the Messi side, you have 18 matches in the League One, 2 goals, 10 assists. So when you start like not comparing, but when you look at your return on investment type thing, you start looking at these numbers and you're like, well, he only scored twice in 18 games, but then again, he gave me 10 assists. So, that's pretty good, Then you go to the Champions League, the 2021-2022 Champions League. He played 7 matches. He scored 5 goals. It's pretty good, It's a pretty good, Champions League, I guess. But obviously, in the games that he needed to show up, obviously he wasn't there. He wasn't nowhere to be found. And then the French Cup, which they got kicked out, he only played one match, and he was basically a ghost there. And then as Dynamo meme says, Mr. Sue. I don't even know how to pronounce it honestly, but that was my attempt. He came back to the Premier League. He has played 24 matches, 12 goals, and 3 assists. So, if you do an average on that, is like half a goal per game. So, honestly, that's not bad at all. Like, that's what you want from a top tier guy, from, your number 7, your guy that is going to be your guy. And then when you go to the Champions League, he played 6 matches. He had 6 goals. And honestly, that's a goal per match. And that's basically what you want, So if you're going to look at the hard facts, if you're going to look at the facts of this, Messi had basically what is this? 26 matches, 7 goals, 10 assists. And then Cristiano Ronaldo had 30 matches, 18 goals, and 3 assists. So, those are pretty good numbers from both of them. But I think, Cristiano Ronaldo is having a better year. And when it comes to, inspiring the greats, I think, Cristiano Ronaldo has the upper hand, at least this year. I think Messi has done a lot for the sport and will probably continue to do a lot, but I don't think PSG is the right fit for him. And me personally, if I was Messi, I would just go back to Barcelona and, just keep, it's like that when basically this PSG phase for Messi is when Michael Jordan went to go play baseball type thing, like that has to be the equivalent of it. But, it is what it is. But yeah, guys, I think that's everything that I needed to talk about. And why does it keep... Sorry, man. I don't know why it keeps muting itself. But, yeah, like I was saying, I don't know if you guys have any more questions that you guys want to talk about. Go ahead and put them in the chat. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes because I know there's a delay. But, other than that, don't forget to check out, the social medias here, QuattroQuattroDos on Twitch. After this is going to go up on YouTube. So if you guys want to rewatch it or whatever, you can go over there. Chris Putalias is on Twitter and Instagram, same handle. I wasn't able to find the little drawing, but I will figure it out. We'll find the Instagram drawing. We'll put it in there. But yeah, man, thank y'all so much for joining me. The ones that were, live here with me. We'll do this every Thursday at 9:15, just so I can have enough time to put the kids to bed, so they won't be all over the place. So I appreciate it. Dynamo score prediction. One of the questions, I said 2-2 against Colorado. I'm hoping for a win, but I think a 2-2 draw is the proper thing. And then Aston Villa score prediction, and you said we were playing Arsenal. Honestly, I'm kind of like out of the loop on that one, just because it's gonna be like between work and freaking. But Arsenal, Aston Villa is playing at home, so, and I think we're kind of like doing a little bit better. We're in a good swing of momentum, so it's gonna be a good matchup. Arsenal, didn't they just lose? I think I was watching a game the other day. Yeah, they played Liverpool, didn't they? And they lost, if I'm not mistaken. But then again, Liverpool is Liverpool, so Liverpool has been playing great. It's honestly a pleasure to watch Liverpool play. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Aston Villa 2. And we'll give a goal to Arsenal. I think it's gonna be a 2-1, but I think Aston Villa is gonna dominate most. Well, I'm hoping they're gonna dominate most of the game, but I do predict a goal from my boy Coutinho. So shout out to Coutinho. But yeah, man, thank you so much for joining us or joining me. I appreciate it. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for everything, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of QuattroQuattroDos. Deuces.